Ladies and gentlemen, when you open up the YouTube app to watch something, you want to be entertained, or maybe you want to learn something, or maybe you want to cry, or maybe you want to laugh. In this video, I promise you all of those emotions and more. Thank you to the viewer who sent me this game by email. This individual has like 3 different names on that email. I don't know what the right name is, but thank you. You will know who you are. They are 300 rated on chess.com, and they sent me this game against a fellow 300 rated player. Now, our protagonist is playing this game with the black pieces, so we will follow the game. Usually we follow it on the white side. We're going to follow this game on the black side. Here we go. Both these players are 300. Let the fun begin. It's a 10-minute game. Knight to c3. Not a bad move, a bit non-standard. I mean, I think we're more used to seeing something going in the center like a pawn, but okay, I don't hate knight c3. It doesn't negate any of this stuff, and probably white was just trying to play the Van Geet opening. Now here, black responds with f5. I'm already not so crazy about this position. You should probably play with the king's or the queen's pawn. Maybe black thought that if they put the d pawn here, it could get taken. Typical beginner mistake that's actually protected. And e5, maybe black just wanted to avoid the Vienna. Maybe black just wasn't very well prepared in the Vienna. So black played the move f5. Now this weakens the king, but okay, it still fights for the center. Now we are in the Raphael variation of the Dutch defense, as both players clearly knew about, now that white lashes out d4, and we actually have a transposition back to the Dutch defense with 2 knights c3. Knight f6 is a very solid move, and here white develops the bishop. Now, that is a suboptimal developing spot. You would rather develop it to f4, style of London, or bishop g5, and this is actually a mainline position of the Dutch defense, which I've played many times with black. Black responds with g6, great move. And bishop g7, fantastic. I mean, everything that just happened was excellent. White just really wanted all 4 pieces side by side. It's more of an aesthetic thing rather than a strategic one for the battleground standpoint. Now, you would think that everything black is doing is preparing a short castle, but here black decides, actually, no, I want to take dominant control of the center. Perfect. This is excellent. Black has already more than equalized this position, in my opinion. White plays long castle. That is a wonderful move. Now we actually see the entire justification of white's development scheme. Black plays the move knight c6. And now white realizes that their dark squared bishop is actually suboptimally placed and plays bishop to f4 anyway, which kind of draws me back to this position. You might as well just go bishop f4. You really should try to avoid putting bishops in the way of e and d pawns early on, because you're not going to have easy movement after that. But that's just for my beginners. Anyway, so far so good. No one's blundered a queen yet. We're like 10 moves into the game pretty soon, which is impressive. b6. This is a nice move, intending to develop the bishop, and black has essentially completely finished development. Clearly, black is Italian, even though they have the Finnish flag. They're a fan of fianchetto, g7 and b7. Bishop e2. Now, of course, black can play queen d7 and copy white or castle short. Black immediately finds an opportunity to jump in and threaten the f2 pawn, which white promptly defends. Excellent vision there, and now we see the overextended nature of the knight. It can just be booted out with the move h3. Which is coming, which is why it's actually better to jump your knight into the center of the board, particularly if you have it well defended. If you're defended with sufficient pawns, if the opponent takes, then they just walk directly into a fork. That's very common. So try to put your knights into a position where long-term they can survive. Whereas if you just jump out over to the side with a one-move threat like this, it can get protected, and then you will get booted out, which is exactly what happens. But the person playing with the black pieces is a Gotham viewer, which means that they have not just watched me say danger levels like 400,000 times, they've also probably listened to my music, and that rap is called Danger Levels. What's worth more than a knight? A queen. You might as well go and get it. Now, knight b4 has the right idea in their heart, but it's a terrible move. Why is it a terrible move? Because anytime you leave a piece hanging to go attack another piece, you need to ask yourself, I'm attacking this queen, where is it going to go? And it probably will just move, but there was something better, which is why you need to always look for danger upon yourself. Queen b5 check leaves you with 3 hanging pieces. Always be on the lookout for checks for your opponent. If you block that check, that queen will either take the knight or this knight will get taken. And white is completely winning. But white goes here. And the other problem with playing moves like this, attacking stuff, is you'll forget about what was in danger in the first place, and black promptly hangs a knight. H takes g4. So now white is a knight up. Black responds with not capturing the free thing, but rather continuing with the plan. Over here, takes on d4 here. And again, black should probably take on g4 or do something with this king. Instead, black plays one of the worst moves I've ever seen in my life. But that's okay, because this is 300 ELO chess. I'm also not actually being serious. The point of this video is to entertain you with my sarcasm, but also try to explain some things to you. E5 is just not it. It's not it for a couple of reasons. Number one, counting. 1, 2, 3. That's just not going to work when the bishop is the only thing protecting. Also, your king is in the middle. So the last thing you should be thinking about here is opening up the king. You probably should try to evacuate the king or just capture something for free. So e5, and now white responds with bishop takes, which is a fantastic move because now black just simply has no option but to trade pieces, and black castles. The problem with castling this way is that you've already opened up the rook, which you promptly blundered all the way back here. But okay, I digress. A3, not a bad move. I would just continue with bishop takes g7, and I will tell you why. Because if you take and king takes, you really should be kind of eyeing this. The last thing that you should be worried about is this knight. The king is right there. The rook is down that line. Who can team up with the rook? Well, if you said knight, you're actually 100% correct because it is protected. Rook pressures this, and the knight is threatening to jump into e6 from where it will promptly attack everybody. Literally everybody valuable in black's position. Knight g5 and the game is over. Or, if you have really nice board vision, queen h6, defended with the rook and bulldozing into h7. So focus on the king. Once you're up material, once you have the pieces lined up to the king, don't just play these one move attacking threats. Now this knight is going to go. Knight comes back to c6. White takes on f5. I mean, you might as well. That pawn's been there for a little bit. Probably had a little bit of tunnel vision because they realized that they were not getting taken. Black responds with rook f5. And white plays a good move, bishop d3. I mean, there's nothing I can say about that move. You just attack the rook. Black takes on e5. Now, that just leaves a rook hanging, but at the same time, you did get yourself a bishop, so it's not the end of the world if the bishop takes on f5. Now, which one will white take? White responds with de5, maintaining this threat, and black plays rook to f4. Now, make no mistake about it. Rook to f4 is straight up a free rook. That is queen takes rook. That is not complicated. White doesn't do it. White just does not see this. White saw the same distance with another diagonal attacker, but missed it with the queen. Okay, no problem. Rook e8. Rook e4. This is the play of an individual who is dead set on losing a rook. This person has no respect for the tower and is just intently giving it away for anything worth 0 points or potentially 3. Finally, white obliges with knight takes e4, black plays de4, and white plays bishop e4. Now the queens see each other, and if black has any hope of saving this position, black should not trade the queens. Black should definitely not go here, because after queen d2, whatever it takes back, now you're going to have to trade bishops as well, and this is just, you're not going to win this position with rook and bishop. So, bishop a6. Now, bishop to a6 hangs another rook. I told you this was the play of a person who wants to lose rooks. No respect for the rooks. They only trust the diagonal attackers, the bishops and the queen. They only think that they should survive on the board. However, this also blunders mate. And there's mate in 6 here, which I don't expect any 300 to see, frankly. I might not even see this in a game. But the point is you need to go for the king, right? So you need to find ways to attack the king. So if the king goes to h8, there's this absolutely beautiful combination, rook takes h7. Very common when the king is locked into the corner like this. King h7, and now you bring the rook. And it's over. It's mate. You have to block with queen and bishop, and you get bulldozed on the h-file. Very common tactical pattern. If you don't see it in the forcing way, you still have moves like knight g5, which basically guarantee you win everything. This position is completely lost. Now, after bishop to a6, white, for some reason, was not thinking aggressively. White was thinking, I need to reinforce my queen and threaten this one. Now, again, I told you if black wants any hope to save this position, black should not trade queens. So rather than trading the queen, black loses the queen. Queen takes d8. Rook d8 it is so over here. It's not even close. But white, at this point, completely forgets that they actually have a queen on the opposite side of the board and plays the move knight to g5, which I like. I've been advocating this move for a while now. This is obviously quite a good move, and now white is back to threatening bishop d5 with checkmate. So bishop f8, I don't even know how to really explain this move. I think black is basically just out of ideas and is setting up the board for the next game. Like, they thought that if they put the bishop on f8, the queen's already there. Maybe next move they move the rook there, then bishop back, find a way to get the king here. Maybe, like, they activate the 5 pieces of Exodia or something, and then they obliterate their opponent. I don't know. Bishop d5. Of course, you're not going to take that. You play king g7. Now, it is mate in 1 here, folks. There is mate in 1. Rook h7 is mate. The rook takes the pawn. It's mate, even by accident. Also, knight to e6 wins a queen, but rather than doing either of those things, white fuses the ideas and takes on h7 with the knight, which is not even a check, but still is completely winning. Now, black plays bishop to e7. It's a good move. Trapping the knight. It's a good move, but there is mate in 2 if you find this. And then the king would have to go to the corner, and then any knight move is a mate. But okay, queen d4. I don't hate that move. Rook c5. Putting a little bit of pressure on the bishop, b4. And as I've been saying time and time again, this is a person that wants to lose their rooks. So rook d5. And white defends the queen. Again, although there's no such thing as defense when you're going to lose a piece for a piece of lower value. That queen's just hanging. Rather than taking the rook with reinforcement, which you added several moves ago, white defends their queen, and black just doesn't take it. Black has no interest in taking the queen. They now defend their rook. So both sides are defending something they have no business defending, and now we go from -5 to, again, completely winning for white, who then moves the queen out of the way. Now there is a trade of rooks coming. Bishop a6. I guess white is just trying to repeat moves on their own. Black is trying to repeat moves on their own. The game is only drawn if you repeat moves both sides. So, you know, that doesn't work. Rook e1, I don't hate that move. But here's the thing, because white pushed a bunch of random pawns, anytime you want to create counterplay in a totally lost position, what you need to do is you need to go for those weak pawns and go for the king, right? I've been saying this time and time again, which is why I love this move. That is a great move. Great move, joking aside, sarcasm aside. It's funny because the way white played this, even though white is still winning, there's no checks. See, that's interesting. White played this in a way that now you can't attack the king. When you don't have a clear plan of attack, people malfunction. Rook h3 is a great move, though. That's an excellent move, trying to trade the rook. Queen d4. Now, queen d4 is a fantastic move in the sense that you are forking the queen and the pawn. You are attacking both. The thing is that both can also take you. It's like punching the mirror, thinking you're going to... I don't know. I don't know why you would punch a mirror, but queen d4 is just not a very good move. But that queen is immortal. That queen is completely immortal, and white, rather than taking the rook and losing the queen, or taking the queen for free, or taking the queen with the queen, just moves over here and sees this. That's all they see. They want to go for the king. They didn't know how to do it. Now, black can play queen c3 and have a devastating attack on white, and that's exactly what they do. King to b1. Now, how do you win this position? First of all, you have queen takes rook check. You can also give this check if you don't know what you're doing. You could also take this rook because there's danger over here. Black plays king h7. Black decides that rather than following this up with a belligerent attack of 14 points of material onto a king and a lot of hanging stuff and a lot of checks, which is why you should always give checks, now black saw this shiny nice thing over here, got distracted, took the knight for free, and is mated. It's queen g6 is mate in 2. I mean, it's you in this position have like 40 different mates in 1 or 2 or whatever. Queen g8 is the easiest. Queen h6 is mate. Queen h5 is mate. Queen e8 is mate in a couple of moves. Rook h1 is mate in a couple of moves. So many mates. Rook h3 is not mate because the rook will take you, but whatever. Instead of that, rook h3 is played. Now, white just completely forgets that this is here. Like but to their credit, so does black. And actually, king g7, believe it or not, is the top engine move. It's the top engine move. If you take, there is a queen trade that might happen. So king g7 is the best move, and now white plays f3. And now, finally, black has a moment to go and take the rook or give a check, and black does neither of those things and plays bishop c4, just bringing the bishop to the party, trying to take the king's escape squares away. But luckily for black, there's no danger to the king. White has successfully locked out their pieces from both attacking and defending at the same time, which is pretty impressive. And now there is no danger to the black king at all. So white plays queen f4, and black gives a check on b3. And now at this point, what might happen is that you will stumble into a mate by accident. You ever had that? You play a move, and then the chess.com thing goes, and you win. You know what I'm talking about, right? So king to c1, it's mate in a couple of moves, but as long as you keep giving checks, I like it. King d2, and queen c2 mate. And that folks, is how 300 ELO chess is played. You need a nice combination of decent opening. Well, I mean, to be completely honest, both these players played great in the opening. I have to like give a lot of credit. For some reason, Black refused to castle. And then once like the whole opening phase was over, Black just didn't castle at all. And then that's when the giveaways began. Knight b4 is an interesting move of danger levels. Always keep an eye on your opponent's resources with moves like Queen b5. And how they can put you in danger. Stop blundering one movers. One movers are the easiest types of blunders to stop making. And go for the opponent's king. That's like the best advice I can give you. Stop opening up your king. Go safeguard your king. And always try to create counterplay by not trading pieces, keeping your most powerful pieces on the board, and looking to attack what's most valuable. And stop these one movers. Be on the lookout for how your opponents can do damage to you in one turn. You will start gaining rating very, very quickly and very easily. See, more one movers. And the board is big. Look all the way down the board, up and down, diagonals. But yeah, what a game. Thanks for the submission. I hope you all enjoyed. I will see you in the next one. Get out of here.